you ready to get casual? Grab your favorite adult beverage or combustible plant and join us for our roundtable TTRPG discussion. Oh yeah, it's time for Casual Friday. And now, here are your hosts.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the host, which is all confusing to you, I'm sure, but especially to me. And I finally get to say, is it Thursday yet? Yes. Indeed, thank you. It is, in fact, Thursday. We're talking about Critical Role. We took off last week. We heard the public outcry. Several of you missed us. We appreciate that greatly. And we're back to talk about episode 8 and maybe touch on 7 a tiny bit just to lend some context to 8. But we are in the barony of Snoke, assailing a castle.
Snoke is from Star Wars.
Yes, it is. Snoke is the dude from. But first, the cold open. We get next door to the last cold open. We get Taisha and Julian in some unnamed tavern. We're like, what are we, 4 episodes into the main part of the campaign now? How do you like this cold open format? Because it's a departure from what they've been doing for 3 seasons.
Well, I think it's pretty clear now that they're filmed at a different time. Paying attention to Brennan's shirts, I can see that it's filmed at a different time. So it seems like they're probably filming. My guess would be that they're filming those bits at the beginning of those cast episodes, like at the beginning of a Seeker episode, and then I don't know how it works. They're definitely filmed at a different time. They're kind of interesting, but I feel like they're reticent to do any real role playing because it's like these exist outside of time. You know what I mean? Like a couple weeks ago, Ashley and Alex, their role play scene, like they didn't really know what to talk about because they're just like, you're in a tavern and we can't really say anymore. But I thought this one was pretty interesting with Matt and Abria, and they are at a tavern, and Ernest is not doing well. And I noted, put in my notes, this is the first time that Taisha and Julian are civil to each other. So I was like, I kept waiting for Abria to get mad, but it didn't happen. The Royces were told when they die they could go to Land of Fairy, but they don't know. But Aranessa doesn't know if that works now. She's kind of like, we don't know anything. And there was a good quote. Hey, Twin Steel, there's a good quote. They killed our family, and now we smell like potatoes.
Is the bus still running? Is the ferry still running? I really like. This is something I try to do in my own games and narratives, and Brennan excels at it. The grounding in the experience of it all. Like, Aranessa's been completely composed. She is a lady of the Sundered Houses. She has navigated wars and high court, and she seems like she's holding it together, but fear has stopped her from eating or drinking for days. And like those little details that aren't about cosmic forces or super heroic powers, that's the kind of stuff that makes me feel much more engaged with a story or a D&D game. So that little detail was, I was writing that down. It's like, yes, fear kills hunger. She lost her appetite.
One thing we haven't said yet that you and I were actually talking about right before the show is surprise that at the beginning of December we're still with the soldiers, because you and I had both agreed that we assumed it was going to be 3 weeks on, then a week off for the whatever last week of the month, and then they would rotate to the next cast. But as far as I know, episode 8, as far as I know, episode 9 that's premiering tonight is still going to be the soldiers. So we don't know how long they're going to stay with each table. We have no idea, and they didn't say. We just assumed.
Yeah, and I'm not mad about it because I love this table. We'll get into it, but my notes are insane for this episode. I love this cast of characters. I love this cast of actors. But yeah, I was under the assumption that they were watching all those Casual Friday episodes where we were pontificating about what they were probably going to do, but apparently not, or they didn't get the memo, or my inclination is that actually they pre-taped all of these and like what we said was better, but they've already done. They already committed to this. Like it was in the past, so they didn't go with what we were saying. But yeah, the big logistical question in my mind, hearing that this was a West Marches campaign with 3 tables, is how are you going to present that to the world, and are you going to lose us?
Mm.
Because right now I'm committed to the soldiers. I wonder if I stop watching them for, it feels like 2 months now, projecting forward, or even more. Like I'm interested to see what happens. But right now, man, I'm pot committed. Like we didn't do an episode last week, but like I watched the show. Like I'm here for it. And I do fast forward over the Playhouse. I'm sorry. I know there were weird pictures going. Do you have any comments on that? I didn't watch that part.
No, I didn't watch that either. I didn't.
Okay. There was like weird haircut bit. I don't know what that was about.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't care about that part. Maybe when they come back from the intro, that they do the recap. Maybe we could talk about stuff we like from episode 7 now. I made some notes. I thought
Sure.
Cadigan seeking out a shepherd was really cool. Because they're when you go to a town, the party goes to the tavern to talk to the barkeep. Well, there's no tavern, so Cadigan says, "I'll go talk to a shepherd because they see everything." And I was like, "That's good ranger shit right there. I love that." Also, we met the Hounds of Timony, which is like the coolest thing ever. I love
Yes.
the Hounds of Timony. They will return later in episode 8, but we first heard of them. The politics in Timony are kind of complex. The soldiers finally caught up to Kaz at his shitty castle in his shitty village, which I guess is up against a cliff, so it's all rocky, and so Sloke is kind of like the end of the road. There's just a cliff there, and you can't go any further. So they've caught up with Kaz, and it seems like the Taconis might have Sid in their possession. But what else? What else did you want to mention from episode 7?
It's fun. I don't have my 7 notes in front of me, but the Taconis whatever cousin with the like Dia de los Muertos face tattoo going on, and just like her tone, and I was like, oh, we're seeing her again, and I'm scared about it. And just the perfect double cross of it all, of like, yeah, this evil family married this widow to get a foothold in this territory, because clearly the Sundered Houses have machinations on Timony. We got little intimations that the Condescent Creed is also kind of like fomenting rebellion against King Gus somehow. And with mixed success, it seems like King Augustus is well loved, at least by the people who fought beside him. We got a little more on the War of Axe and Vine. Seems to be a little clearer in my head, and came after the Falconers. Oh no, came before the Falconers Rebellion. So like timeline is sorting out a little bit more for me between 7 and 8. And the Human Kingdom fell, and there was war to figure out who gets to be in charge of what. And King Gus won Timony. And the Hounds, man, amazing. Yes.
Yeah,
give me doghouses everywhere.
You're right. I found it. The War of Axe and Vine ended in the year 45, and it's now the year 71, which I assume is 71 years since the gods died, since the Shapers' War. And yeah, the other one, the Falconers' Rebellion, was 12 years before now. 12
and
or
did
less
not
than that. I can't remember.
Did not touch Timony, but we learned in this episode Timony supported the rebels kind of covertly, because King Gus didn't want to take a stand against the Sundered Houses. But my interpretation here is that the Sundered Houses remember whose side Gus was on, and now they're coming for him. So the idea that they married this widow, took this tiny, crappy place, and sounds like they offed her pretty quickly, and now they're passing it off to Kaz because they've done their thing, and Kaz is pissed. Rags to riches to ruins.
Yeah.
in quick succession.
Yeah. The session starts with the battle map out, and I wonder if Brennan uses the same map helpers that Matt uses. I don't know. I assume Brendan has access to that super cool toy room with all the minis and all the shelves and stuff. I've seen Instagram reels of like fast motion stuff of Matt in there making maps and stuff. That room is super cool.
I want it. Covet.
So everyone does investigation checks at first to kind of scope the battlefield out where all the knights are stationed around. There's currently a lot of knights, a lot of plate mail, a lot of great swords, or at least long swords. Wick and Tyranny as Dr. Finger are undercover. That was something that happened. Session 7. Talk to Casimir about Thiazi, and then we see Sam's cup gag is an actual size thimble. And Wick basically pimps Dr. Fimble out to Casimir. And then there's something that I noticed here. I don't know if you saw this video, Ryan, but within the last couple weeks, some D&D tuber made a video about how Brennan uses the word incredible as a scene. Did you see that video? You know what I'm talking about?
No, but I think I might have mentioned it on one of these episodes. It has infiltrated it's one of my processing words now. I probably said it last night running the game of like, I am saying words now and retaking the conch shell of talking and acknowledging that you did a cool thing. He says hell yeah a lot too, in the same like drawn out cadence of like, that's his processing sound. And now I say it sometimes.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that, so I guess I assumed you'd seen that video. But there was a YouTuber who made a video about it, gave all these examples of like, this is what Brennan says, and now when I hear it, I hear "shut up, it's my turn to talk." Because what happened was he was typing in his old laptop, looking up lore or whatever, and Robbie and Tayor Travis were doing a joke about hanging to the right. And they were like, they were like, he, and Brendan goes, incredible. And everybody shuts up. And I was like, I get it now. Yeah, it means shut up. It's my turn to talk.
I missed that. It's funny. There is something that took me a long time to learn and like accept and internalize as a dungeon master is that as you ratchet up the tension, at least with the kind of people I like to hang out with and play with, the humor also gets ratcheted up because people have this pressure release valve. So like the amount of like weird, horny dick jokes and like, I mean, Robbie turns to Whitney and is like, you did that. Like, I am absorbing your energy. And you like, he says it and instantly is like, what the hell is like, how did I say that? So that is, I used to struggle when that was happening because like, no guys, I'm trying to set a tone here. When in actuality, it means you are successfully setting the tone. Like the tagline of the Soldier's Table is that like fights matter here. And they were assaulting a castle that was well defended. It seemed pretty evident that Brendan had like spelled it out right before the cameras rolled that like, you guys got to play smart or you're all dead. So I think that actually ratchets up the insanity, which plays out throughout at least the first half of this episode with the Little Shop of Horrors, tits out, Dr. Jezebel Finger.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So after the next thing that happens is, so everybody's kind of waiting around because there are a lot of knights there. And then, but Tayor falls out of a tree. So everyone rolls initiative. He gets a nat 20, or no, it was just Tayor. He rolls a nat 20. He hides. The knights don't spot him. Then a few guards start to leave. Tyranny prayed to her patron, but I didn't catch the name. It was like a word.
I wrote down
Leslius. Like, I don't know what it was.
Charity?
I don't know, but that was new information, I believe.
Yeah, and did like some like arcane recovery version of the warlock gaining a spell slot back.
Yeah, probably if she has the Rod of the Pact Keeper, you can use that to get back one spell slot. Or that may be a 5.5 thing with Warlocks. So Wick tries to persuade everyone to leave. Kaz is catching on. Basically, Brennan has people keep rolling deception checks until they fail. Basically, is what's happening in here. Is just deception check after deception check, and eventually Wick fails, so he casts Thaumaturgy to shout out help. And everyone at the table is like, "What? Why are you doing that?"
And Brennan runs a lap, which is so satisfying in the 3-camera setup that they have to watch it. It's such a good gag. And I love watching a very seasoned dungeon master with a very seasoned group of players struggle with that indecisive middle ground that happens in D&D sometimes, where it's just like, I just need you to give me a very big or small number, because we're on the edge here, and I don't want to totally destroy you, but this is a smart person, and you are ping-ponging between a very good lie and a very stupid thing. So just give me a 3 or a 19 so we can call this.
Tyranny casts suggestion, says to send the men out. The situation seems diffused for the moment. Then Wick rolls another deception. Casimir kicks Wick out and says, while this doctor is working on me, if anything happens, kill him. So the men are holding Wick down on the ground. Still in initiative order, Cadigan, Robbie says, how much of this would I know? Robbie's trying to be a good role player here, which I appreciate. And Robbie says, based on what I would know, I just hear help. So he casts Fog Cloud and sends Wulfric through the fog to lead the horses away from the castle. And it works on a lot of them. A bunch of start to leave because they're chasing the pack mule, which has all their stuff. One of the knights saying, the food is leaving. That's funny.
A significant portion of Baron Casimir's wealth is on that pack mule. We need to get it.
And so then we're out of initiative again. Then go back inside, and Brennan was like, that was amazing. That was incredible. What a great idea. Half of them just left. I think Brennan was quite nervous about them starting the fight with all the knights there, and he was very glad that Robbie thought of that, was the impression I got. Back with Tyranny and Kaz, she says, I'm Jezebel Finger. We get the full name now, Dr. Jezebel Finger. She gets him prone, then Cat rolls a nat 1 stealth to get immediately spotted by a crow keeper, and initiative's back on. Tyranny casts hold person. Go ahead.
There was a moment in that interaction that I thought was really good, where Casimir dresses down Wick in a perfect way, and sends him out, and then is talking to Dr. Finger, and is like, he's a rat, he thinks he's something else, but I know a rat when I see one. You don't have to defend him, you could stay here with me or whatever. And Whitney goes, he's not a rat. And it's like, I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but it's like Tyranny says it, and then Dr. Finger says it as if she catches herself and goes back into her character's character. And I just watched Laura look at Travis and just watching them watch each other and enjoying the show and the commitment and just the mastery of it all. There was a couple points where Laura seemed deeply entertained by Tyranny, because Laura used to be the dirty one. And now she gets to play straight, because it's hard to, at least right in this episode, out horny, joke, whatever Whitney's bringing to the table with her demon. Watching her and her husband be like, man, and also as shareholders in this company, good get. She's a good addition to this table. This is fun. That's some of my favorite. That's the part of Critical Role I want everyone to bring back to their table, of just enjoy what the other players are doing. And the more you can do that, the better off your game is going to be.
So in the room, Tyranny casts Hold Person on Kaz. Cat throws a rogue in plate mail over the castle wall. Wah! He's dead. Wick quotes a Bible verse and casts Color Spray and blinds one of his attackers. Thimble attacks Kaz and hits him, which should have been an auto crit because of Hold Person, but It looks like Brendan missed it. And then she takes a second attack because of Light and Nick. Then a knight attacks Wick. He shields. A knight attacks Tyranny and hits her. Kaz fails the save versus hold person. Then Taylor jumps on top of a rogue and battle roars. But he doesn't really do anything. He just falls and takes some damage. Crowkeeper misses Taylor. Kaz wakes up, attacks Tyr, pulls his pants up, disengages, runs up the stairs. We didn't mention that Kaz got literally spanked with the sword in the previous episode and got his booty cut up.
If I shoot poison spray into his ass, can I fool him into thinking it's alcohol on his wounds? It's like peak player negotiation. Like, no, he would realize.
So Kaz runs up the stairs after Thimble, and Kaz starts to explain that he says Thiazi wronged him, which we haven't up to this point, and we don't know why Kaz has done any of the things he's done. We just know his actions. We don't really know his motivations. Tyranny decides to throw the rainbow egg. She rolls a D100, which summons a giant illusory squid. Which is the way Brennan narrated it. We didn't know it was illusory at first, which was it was beautiful, perfect.
Smart.
But once they realize it's an illusion, Tyranny is inside of it, which led to the line, quote, "The squid has eaten Dr. Jizzfinger," end quote, which might be my favorite actual play line I've ever heard. It doesn't get much better than that.
Right around that line, he's like, what's happening in this room is a different genre than the rest of this castle.
The squid going, "I do not recognize a god when you see one."
Oh, good. Just good stuff, man.
Then outside, Cadigan attacks with Hail of Thorns, and I noticed Robbie has gotten much better at Dungeons and Dragons. Also, and he mentioned, I'm pretty sure he mentioned this in the cooldown later. He talked about how playing as a bard, he struggled being tactical in combat, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's not what bards are for. But you can't really, being a tactical bard, I don't know, seems they're more about support. And he noted that. He was like, now I can be tactical, and now I can position where I am on the field matters a lot more.
You can be tactical if you can be tactical with your team if your team is being tactical as a bard, but like, especially as a newer bard is more advanced, I think, than people realize. Like, support casters are hard to play well and enjoy because you need a level of awareness of what's going on around you, even on top of understanding your character sheet. It's not all just seducing dragons. I like bards. I think they get a bad rap. But oh man, I might like Robbie with an Addle better. He's really rocking
fun. It. Then Wick says to the guard, Tayor comes into the scene. Then Wick says, "You're right. Only Tayor is Tayor." I forgot that bit. Only Tayor is Tayor. A great bit. Misty steps away, and then Thimble attacks Kaz again. And escapes out a window. It just says, like, "Chase me now," or something like that.
Come get me, mofo.
Wick is hit pretty hard by a couple of attacks. And then I noticed Brennan kind of brings the room down, like quiets his tone, and everybody listens up to bring the focus on Wick, who takes 27 points of damage, and he needed 29 to insta-kill him. Which was pretty crazy. So Wick is downed. The guard shoots at Thimble. Tayor guiding bolts at a knight. Then Tyranny is just there with Wick, and she says, "I can't let him die," and gives him the help action for his death save. Which I didn't know you could do that.
I'm not sure you can. Well, because she didn't know you could do a medicine check to attempt to stabilize, which is fairly easy to pull off. And I don't like that. That feels like very inconsequential. It feels like it takes away a lot of what like dying in D&D is about. So Brennan kind of on the fly being like, well, you could do that, or I'll like, yeah, advantage on a death save is cool. And there's homebrew mechanics, which we knew, and we see one of them. Apparently there's a piece of paper with desperate measures, I believe, that activate when you're bloodied, which we haven't seen. I was
just about to get to that. Yep.
Okay. Proceed.
Yeah. So Wick passes his death save, and then Brennan now mentions his homebrew, a sheet called Desperate Measures. And he mentions that it's got things you can use when you're bloodied, but that didn't come up, so we didn't really get to see that. And I got the feeling the group had forgotten about it anyway.
Mhm.
So it's actions you can take when you're bloodied and moves you can make while in death saves, which I've seen in quite a few games. That's more. Yeah, Wick has 20 hit points. Yeah. So while he's in death saves, he can choose.
No one was
between-
bloodied because you went from full to dead.
right. Yeah, that's a fair point. So he can choose between stabilizing on his turn or giving inspiration to someone. And Wick decides to give Tayor inspiration. Then we cut to Thimble and Kaz, and now we finally get an answer of why Kaz did what he did. Kaz says he became disillusioned with Thiazi. He was basically tired of waiting for the promised day to come, and was tired of being probably very poor. Revolutionaries aren't usually rolling in money. He was probably tired of hiding from the Sundered Houses. He's tired of living that life. Decided that he wanted his own piece of the pie, and he ended up getting screwed because Castle Sloke was terrible. But we finally did get an answer, and then Thimble kills him and says, "Can you hear it now?" Obviously, a reference to that Sprint commercial.
It was Verizon, I believe. But
Squid gave me Watchmen vibes. That's funny, Nacho.
Hey, our audience is pretty well seasoned for the most part. But if you're new here, or you're new to D&D in general, and you're looking at the internet, you're gonna find a lot of opinions about how rogues aren't very good. And I'm here to tell you, I strongly disagree and never really understand that take. Maybe like other classes can do more damage in a turn or something, but rogues are dope. And Thimble slowly, methodically cuts this guy's throat off after stabbing him in the eye, and is untouchable in the process. So yeah, don't sleep on rogues.
Well, a rogue is kind of a specialized class, like a ranger. Or like a wizard. If you're running a campaign and a player is a wizard, you need to give them opportunities to learn spells, right? You need to make sure that spell books are included in the loot if you have a wizard in your party. Just like if you have a rogue in your party, you need to make sure there's traps, there's locks, there's pockets for them to pick. Put important stuff in NPCs' pockets, and the rogue will have something to do. Like a ranger. If you play a ranger and it's entirely inside a dungeon, that's probably not very interesting. If there's no travel for the ranger to excel at, gotta know your PCs, and you build the camp. That's what it means to build the campaign around them. Give them cool things for them to do, opportunities for them to invent their own cool things. Anyway, so Tyranny again gives the help action, which feels starting to feel like a waste. Cadigan leaps onto a knight and tries to grapple him. Wick makes another death save and then chooses to stabilize, which seems wise because Tyranny's just going to keep using her turn to give him help anyway. Then the knights all decide to stop fighting, and then we have our break. Then we come back, and in the scene called Possession of Castle Sloke, we start off with a knight saying, "Your lord is slain within the squid." Meaning that Wick is downed within the squid.
I love the pure D&D-ness of it all, where they're like, "Oh, we just took over I guess this castle is ours now. I guess we're going to spend an hour talking about what to do about it." That's just like peak D&D to me after a knockdown, drag-out fight. I also really liked the idea that the knights were probably the biggest threat on the board. You would have thought it was maybe Casimir, the Crow Keepers. I mean, we didn't see them too much because Cadigan took one out kind of instantly, but these almost like stand-in NPCs that felt like filler a little bit were actually like, no, this guy's seen war. You hit him in the face with a guiding bolt and he shakes it off and is still coming at you. Like that was the moment where it's like, oh, okay, this dude in the rusty armor is actually the thing you have to be worried about here. Maybe they didn't know that at the time. when they
Right.
started this fight.
So the exchanges that happen after this are pretty wild with all the knights like, so are you going to hang us or do we work for you now? What is this? What does this mean? And they're basically told, first they're told you can all go. And I think some of them left, but then the knights who went into town to announce that Casimir was the new Baron come back, including Sir Gully Breeches, who was was he really surly? I kind of forgot about Gully Breeches from episode 7.
I think it was just the name that resonated with them, and he was also like, "Hey, I'm hot shit now." He was like the guy who just got a BMW and needs you to know about it. But yeah, the surly guy. There was this thing that was happening, I thought it was me, but actually some of the players were doing it too. There's Dame Cosgrove, who's from Sloke, and there's Sir Copsewood, who was the surly guy who was like, "Don't call him sir. He's like, are you gonna kill me? No. All right, I'm out of here." And their names kept getting switched, and that made it particularly hard for me to follow. Like, all right, who's who here? And Finch was the guy who was the main the reasonable knight who was like, "Here is my sword. I devote myself to you, and you may kill me and whatever."
Yeah, Copsewood and Cosgrove is too close. That's one of the things I actually do. This is super nerdy inside baseball. One of the things that I do in my novels is when I give a character a name, I write down that letter. Nobody else in the book gets to have a name that begins with that letter. That's really nerdy. I can't believe I said that.
It's a safe space. We're all
gonna delete
nerds.
that. We got to edit that part out. That's too nerdy.
We're all nerds. The name of my Tuesday night game group chat. No, the Wednesday night group chat for the game is we are nerds. We are all nerds because that comes up every so often. Why the question? Irish lad is asking why the question if the Raven Thiazi Fang saw. Why the question of the Raven? Can you rephrase that? I'm not. That's going over my head. Why the question of the Falcon? Do you hear it now? No, we said that. I'm not sure what you mean, Irish lad.
I don't know
But
what
what's
that
up?
means. Hit us again. In the meantime, so Dame Cosgrove, Tyranny reveals that she's bound to Wick for 3 years, which I believe is new information. She suggests adopting the Torn Banner, but also keeping their presence secret from the Halovars. There are a lot of ideas get thrown around about what to do, about whether do we say the Halovars have claimed the castle, or do we keep ourselves secret and say we were never here? There's a lot of ideas got thrown around. Dame Cosgrove returns, and then Taylor says, "Wick, you should become the Baron." Gully Breeches does return. Then the group thaumaturgies to intimidate him to leave his armor behind. He's like, "You jerks make me leave this armor so expensive." Sybil asks about the dogs. We learn there are 100 hounds of the king. Then Cadogan suggests to Wick that he make Cosgrove the Baron because through all the last hour of the session they've been talking, we're beginning to see that Dame Cosgrove is probably actually a decent person, and she's from Sloke, and she probably cares about Sloke more than anyone else. So they decide to officially give it to Cosgrove. And then they write on the banner, "The Fanged Falcon lives on." And this part feels like an ending to the arc, right? It
did. It felt like we were I was like, oh, okay, this is the end of this chapter. To the bar.
Then a little twist. There's a horse missing because Gully Breeches has taken off.
Of course.
Then they all decide to go to the bar to get drunk. But when they get there, they find out that there's no alcohol, and they see a sad table of dwarves all drinking water. I loved it. Brilliant. The dwarves like, "Aw."
We've got bread and potato stew. My husband's walking to get ale. He might be back in a day or two. It's like you are nowhere.
That's hilarious.
Have fun. Enjoy.
That reminds me of one time when me and my ex went to Jackson Hole, and then we went to go stay at some little place that was way out of nowhere, and it was like a little like bungalows and a little restaurant. We went there, we got our key, and they go, and here's where you're going to be eating dinner tonight, because it was like the only restaurant within 50 miles was the one attached to the place. We were like, copy that, all right. Anyway, so Dame Morgaine comes in, who is one of the Hounds of Timony. They fill her in. She does some cute dog stuff. She licks somebody's face. They say, have you seen Sid? The Taconis apparently split their caravan because half of them came to give Sloke to Casimir, and then half of them went to do something else. We don't know. But so the thinking is probably that Sid is with the Taconis, and they've gone north, I believe.
It seems like maybe they have a baron in their pocket or something. There's political machinations going on in Timony that we don't know. The king is going south. The new Baroness Cosgrove is going to go report to her liege lord, who's this baron, and Dame Morgaine is like, well, hold off on that. Go talk to the king instead. There's something going on, and I feel like maybe this place that they mentioned a couple times is potentially where the Taconis are taking Sid, but I don't know. I think we are in that state of like, okay, there's unknown unknowns on the table here, but we've been foreshadowed, but we don't have enough pieces to connect all the threads.
And we see Sir Gully's horse is tied up outside, and then Gully is running, trying to get away. And then a new dog enters, a new Hound of Timony chases after him, the boom, and then stands over him like an alpha. This is Sir Hawkins, who comes back into the public house and is ready to aid them to get Sid back from the Taconises. And one thing I noted that it's really unclear if anyone in town is supposed to or will keep the secret of whether they were there or not. Like they threw around a lot of plans, but as often happens in D&D, people spend a lot of time planning and then nothing actually gets decided until someone just takes an action, and then we forget about the discussion.
You got to execute, gang. That's the hard part. Pick a path and push that direction. Yeah, unclear. I mean, yeah, you take over for your family. We don't know what the repercussions are, but that seems like a thing people will learn. So the idea.
Oh, the question.
If the Yazi was a real, tell me quickly.
All right, and then the next comment was made.
Oh no, the Falcon. I don't know. There's more to that too. There's more to that too that we don't understand. We don't know what Thiazi saw, and it might have been whatever it was told him that the escape plan wasn't working somehow, because he instantly changes his demeanor and says some stuff to Hal as if suddenly he knows he's going to die in the next moments. I'm very open to having missed things, but I don't think that we have that information yet. But yes, there was this conversation. He saw he saw a thing, and they want to know what he saw, but we don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. In the cooldown, Brennan said he has lots of lore on the Hounds, which is very exciting.
Clearly, Sir Hawkins showed up, and it's just like, oh, this is a character that everybody instantly loves and wants to. Yeah, I love this good boy who moments before had killed a guy by drowning him in mud, which is pretty metal. It's pretty hard to be like, here's a lovable character. Like, if that was not a dog, I don't know if that was. And it was a really nice kind of resonant moment between that, Gully Preaches, and Wix being shoved in the mud. Yeah. And if I die today, at least I put my foot on the neck of a lord, right? That one crow keeper said before and in fact, then quickly died that day. There's something.
We don't know what it means, and we may not get the answer to that for a long, long time. That may be the thing that is the final arc of one of the final twist in the campaign. For all we know, who knows? But I believe tonight they are going back to the soldiers again, as far as I know.
I do not know. I'm excited for, like, I'm invested in the soldier story now. Like, if this was the campaign, it's like, yeah, a great campaign.
Yeah,
I was just talking to my buddy. I am the the characters and the players at the soldiers tables are definitely out to an early lead, but the schemers, I think, are where we're going to learn the most. Like, what is the answer to what the Ozzy saw in the sky moments before the Hangman's noose ended his life? We're going to find out when we go back to the schemers table. So I am looking forward to that. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm less invested in the seekers. Is it? Yeah, seekers is the third one. But it feels
the
like
people
there
with
may
the
be
jobs.
next if we keep getting.
Or no, the schemers
I
are
mean,
the ones with jobs.
I think so. I may have reversed them myself, but the people in the city who didn't leave, who have the day job crew, I feel like we're going to learn a lot from them. I'm sure we'll learn other stuff from whatever Julian's squad.
So here's okay. So geographically, the soldiers went north, right? Because Timony is north of Dolmakiar. And the Seekers is Matt's table, right?
90% sure now.
Yeah, the Seekers have gone west, I think, to go to Lady Aranessa's homeland.
Yes, they're going through the pass, which is in my notes somewhere, but I've written down way too many things now for my notes to be useful. They're going through that mountain pass near to where, like, the barrow keepers, the barrow watch, Taisha's son is, where Octus had that vision of something.
Yeah.
And past that point is the Golden Orchard, where they're going to find out if that still stands or was burned to the ground by the Taconases or what.
So here's I have a Nostradamus prediction about
Ooh,
campaign
I like it.
4, but it's gonna be a bit of a long walk to get there. But so okay, so the soldiers have gone north, and we can see that Brandon is trying to involve them in the politics of Timony, right? To give them a reason to stay up there. And so we can assume that the Seekers going west, maybe there's going to be something similar there. There's going to be plot hooks happening in the western region, and then the schemers are going to be in Dolmakiar. Now it just seems like that the Seekers are probably going to come back to Dolmakiar, and I feel like if more than one table is in the same geographical location, that presents logistical problems, you know. Because if you're at a table and Julian, if say it's Luis's character, I can't even remember his character now. Luis Carrazzo is playing the
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you, though. The Pally.
yeah, the
You did some
Pally.
classes.
He's a cop, right? He was a cop. His character needs to speak to Julian, and they know that they're both in Dolmakiar. Why wouldn't they be able to bring Matt to the table? Well, maybe Matt's doing voice work in Rancho Cucamonga today, and so there's no way he's going to be able to get to the studio over in Encino. I don't know where their studio is, but
Walla
think
Walla,
here's-
Washington.
that's
Only,
a
only.
long-
Oh, the West Coast is only Warner Brothers references. Irish lad coming
Azuna.
through.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Irish lad. My point is, here's what I think is going to happen. I think by the end of 2026, they will consolidate to 2 tables. I think the soldiers table will probably increase by maybe 1, and then they'll have a table. So they'll have a table of 6 and a table of 7. I think because 2 tables of 4, it feels small.
Especially
You know,
compared to other seasons of Critical Role. That's half of a standard Critical Role table.
because I could just see it getting to the point where things are crossing over too much, and Brendan just saying, "Look, there's no reason why for us to shoot twice as many episodes, use twice as much studio time, take up twice as much of everyone's time and the production budget and electricity to light the studio and all that, when we can combine these and we'll have our soldiers and then we'll have our seeker schemers. That's what I think is going to happen.
We're definitely going to see another overture type situation, I think, where there'll be a cross pollination, a reckoning. Wix is coming. Wix's story. They keep making a joke about how Wix is a soldier. Like, no way. Wix is the fish out of water. He'll be coming home. His plot hooks bring him back. I don't know, man. I mean, when you hand your players a bastion, like, here's a castle. You guys want to hang out here? Like, that feels like a card being played. But at the same time, once they find Sid, I don't know what keeps them up here, or like what the next thing is even for them. I bet Sid, assuming he survives and is found, knows some stuff about what happened in Dothraki, and maybe they go hunting after the Draconuses, who were ultimately the big bad who got Thiazi dead. We also have stopped talking about all of these death relic things that, like, seem to be, maybe the end game here, but it seems like that's important. The realm of death is overflowing, and no one's ferrying the dead to different realms anymore because the gods are dead. That feels like that's going to be something.
Yeah, that certainly feels like, I think that's going to be one of the major either seeker or schemer plots. But because what are the seekers supposed to do? They're supposed to have a Lord of the Rings, throw the ring in Mount Doom kind of quest, right? It's like the seeker is like epic lore, epic storytelling, big bads, big heroes, that kind of stuff, right? So I think that's like the seekers are going to be crossing over into the other realms and healing bridges between fairy and the mortal realm and that kind of thing, whereas the schemers are going to be sending spies into the houses to try to disrupt financing, like cut off. You can't just fight the snake, you also have to stop the snake from getting a paycheck to be able to you have to cut off the snake's funding, right?
Tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time.
Oh man. Well, I am excited. I'm excited to see, more of the Hounds of Timony. So if that's what we're getting tonight, I'm satisfied. If we do go somewhere else, I'm here for it, because I'm interested in how these transitions work. And maybe if these cold opens are about, like, maybe if it was a soldier cold open to a seeker episode, I would be a little more invested, or it would feel a little more relevant is the wrong word, but it does feel like it's in this liminal space where it's self-contained. There's no consequence. The players don't really know what to do because they haven't. I don't know. In the moment of taping, have they experienced much of their story yet or not?
Right.
If the dungeon master is like, you start at a tavern, what do you say to each other? I don't know. What's on tap? Without some context, it is hard to just like RP from the jump, even if you are literally a professional.
Yeah, 2 tables a week. I don't know. There were a lot of people who thought that we were going to be getting 3 new Critical Role episodes a week, and we here at the Landlocked Warlocks knew that was never going to happen. We were firmly in the camp of there's no way.
There's no way. My prediction, and I'm going to fully admit to being wrong here, but what I thought they might do is the first half is one table. The first half of the episode is one table. The second half of the episode is another table, so that cycling through, it's only going to be maximum 2 weeks without seeing a group. It's going to be interesting what happens to people's commitment to a thing if it's been 2 months, 3 months since I've seen an episode of this particular group running. That being said, we're freaks. No one's watching 4 hours of Critical Role.
Right.
The average person is already well behind. Like, I have friends who are super into it, and they're in the overture still, right? So,
Yeah.
like, giving people time to catch up is probably wise on their part, too, because we are, dare I say it, super fans.
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't launch campaign 4 with the abridged episodes. I know they're still catching up abridged episodes for campaign 3, but if they'd launched it with abridged episodes, they could have sold it to some cable network to show, at 11 o'clock on a Friday night, and then we could be like, hot damn, there's actual play on real television. Critical Role could say their TV stars. Oh, I was thinking about something you said about those cold opens. I could see it being really interesting if the Soldier's Table ends on either a cliffhanger or ends on a note where we don't know what's going to happen next. Then they go to the Schemer's Table, and then the cold open is giving us teases of where their story is headed next. Or maybe a cold open is a resolution to a cliffhanger that we didn't get to see on camera, something like that. That could keep me tuning in for, say I end up not liking the Schemers. It could still keep me tuning in just to see what's going to happen with the Soldier's cold open. But also, I think that what Brandon's trying to do is Brandon's trying to create a world where there's so many great NPCs that are going to cross over that you're going to want to watch it all just to find out what happens to these NPCs and how they intersect with the stories.
I will watch 100 more episodes just in the hopes of finding out where that old gnome's daughters are. Like, he is so great at that. Like, I am a huge fan of Brendan Lee Mulligan. I'm a huge fan of Dimension 20. That scene, that half an episode where they go to that little the glen, I forget the dryad's name off the top of my head right now, but where there are one of every type of fae, and they were all so well developed and had their own personality and wants and desires, and like they could have spent 3 episodes just interacting with a dozen NPCs who were all so differentiated. That is dungeon mastery. That is something that is difficult, at least for me, to do. Like, I can give you a good NPC. I can't give you a roster of 14 in an hour and a half and make them pop. Like, woo! Yeah, the red cap was awesome. God, there were so many, and I think that is one of many things he excels at. That is incredible. Like, it's not a competition. Matt Mercer has some awesome NPCs. I haven't seen him bring out a town where everybody was so well developed in the course of 90 minutes, the way Brennan did.
This is a good point. I found turning the captions on helps a lot. If you can see the names on the screen, it is way, way easier to catalog them. But also it's easier for me because I'm taking notes while I watch. Which taking notes while you taking notes on the thing that you're trying to pay attention to, it turns out it helps you pay attention to it way better. Who knew? I should have learned that in school, right?
Hey players, take notes. Keep in mind. Learn. Also, hey guys, it doesn't pay really well, but when you try to make a job out of your hobbies, watching TV is now homework. And I feel like, what are you doing? Business. I'm watching my stories.
I'm doing business.
It's
Mom.
for work.
It's for work, Mom. I think we could wrap this up now.
Yes. Hopefully we see more of that red cap and the gnome's daughters and these dogs and everything. I'm pumped. I'm here for it. I'm excited. It's pumped. A lot. It's overwhelming, but like, woof, it's good.
It's early days, but this is some of my favorite Critical Role ever so far.
Yeah, valid.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you. Maybe not. No, we'll see you next week. Holidays are coming. Sorry for last week. I was traveling and may do so again. I reserve the right to not be here sometimes. But I love you and I miss you.
I don't agree to that.
No, anyway. Kim will always be here.
All right, I'm going to push the button, okay?
Push the button. Do it.
Right.
Someone has
Bye,
to.
Everyone.
Bye. Bye.